We have the final four left in the rest of the NFL season is done. It's over. We're here. This is it. It all culminates to these four teams. NFC Championship, AFC Championship, Commanders and Eagles first, though, coming up here this weekend. And this is Sunday. And it's 3 o'clock Eastern, I believe, for this game. Now, Commanders visiting the Eagles. These two teams very familiar with each other. The current spread on this, 6.5 is the spread, according to FanDuel Sportsbook. The money line, plus 235 for Washington, minus 290 for Philadelphia. Over-under total set at 47.5. Now, these two teams are very interesting. Let me go ahead. I'm going to give you the numbers on the money coming in, at least on the spread. 66% of the public and 60% of the money is on Washington. Rightfully so, because they have a rookie quarterback and everyone is really excited to see him make history to be a rookie in the Super Bowl, right? And so that's going to be a big deal for people wanting to see that happen. But I have a feeling, Scotty, I have a heavy lean in this game, and everyone wants Washington. Everyone needs Washington. Everyone that's the darling. That's the I wouldn't classify them as Cinderella because I don't know if that's the right term, but they're a team that everyone wants to love on here. And there's a lot of people all over Washington, which makes me gravitate towards the Eagles, which is where I have a heavy lean. And by the way, yeah, go Eagles. ELGSES. Go Birds. Hey.
Piglet, if you're going to be a true fan of the Eagles, you can't spell it.
You can't spell it like that,
it's
Piglet.
not allowed.
You have to spell
You
it.
be like the mayor of Philadelphia who can't spell the word Eagles.
Yeah. In case you missed it, she had a speech in front of on camera, on television, hyping up the Eagles, spelling out the chant.
Did she have a stroke when she was up there?
I don't know.
Like, not only did she spell it wrong, it wasn't appreciabably close. It's not like she just missed one letter.
No.
She missed like all the letters almost.
I mean, like, ELGSES, Eagles. Go Birds. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I hope their team plays better than they...
The Eagles should lose just on that account.
It was crazy. Scotty, it's hard for me not to lean Eagles in this game, just for a lot of the reasons that I've mentioned. And now we're going to be doing our best bets. We're 7-2 on our best bets in the playoffs. So we're going to be going through these. We're going to feel out our bets just like we have been doing all throughout this playoffs. And we're going to come to a consensus on some. But I'm going to lay some stats out for y'all, because there's a lot of reasons why I feel like the Eagles is the side here. Like, Washington, again, they're the darling. I mentioned the money, and I mentioned all the bets coming in on Washington. But this is just a tough spot. Eagles. 6-0, by the way. This is a weird one. Sean Hockley. Eagles in this referee spot. 6-0 so far this season with Sean Hockley. 5-1 against the spread.
What do you mean not this season? Sean Hockley. Maybe not. Just in Eagles games that he's officiated. Anyway. Throw that stupid stat out the window. Let's move on.
Commanders. By the way, in Sean Hockley games, 1-3, and 0-3 against the spread.
Stop. Move on from that garbage. Give me real stats.
Give me real stats. This is the fourth road game in a row.
Yes, that's a good stat. I knew that stat, Chris. That's a good stat.
It's a fourth road, eighth team in this scenario. Previous 7, 0-7 straight up, 1-5 and 1 against the spread. Not great, especially with a rookie quarterback coming in here. I think Jaden Daniels needs to play perfect. Commanders have won 7 in a row. 15 teams have entered the NFC Championship with a 7-game winning streak. 4-11 against the spread, but failing to cover by 4.5 points in this spot. So there's that. And I think here in this one, they're going to focus on running the ball, right? I think that Jalen Hurts isn't actually torching people with his arm necessarily. You ask his wide receiver core how they feel about him. But all they got to do in this game is just play smart, protect the ball, and run it. You have the MVP, well, some people's MVP in Saquon. And all they got to do is let the other team make the Commanders make the mistake. The Commanders are going to be taking more of the risky plays downfield. They've always been doing that all season long. As long as the Eagles take care of the football, run it, and they have a smart game plan, you just force Washington to just make the mistakes, and then you capitalize on it. So I think there's some big challenges for the Commanders. Everything for me leans towards the Eagles. 6.5 is... I've said all season long that these two teams play close games. I would be opening to teasing the Eagles down just to a half if it's at 6.5 in this game, just to have a little bit of reassurance there, because I do like the potential to tease the other one maybe with the Bills up to get some points in a close game on the other side. But I just feel like the Eagles are in an interesting spot here. The stock is down. No one really feels like Eagles offense is just, outside of Saquon, just in an incredible spot right now throwing the football. So I kind of lean Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, despite your whatever that ref trash was, I agree with the 4
it's not
straight
wrong.
road games.
It's silly stats. I get it.
It's not correlating to actual real life bets. And if people that use that are like, don't love it. Anyway, but 4 straight road games doesn't go well. You have a rookie QB. How often do rookie QBs make the Super Bowl, Chris? Doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
Never happened. You have a public that's on the rookie QB, and you have this narrative with Philadelphia that Jalen Hurts can't throw the football, and that's kind of true. That narrative's there because it's true. Jalen Hurts can't throw the football. I don't know he's broken. They can't throw the football, but that offensive line is great. That run game, Saquon's bound to break 1 or 2. That defense is definitely superior in my mind to the Commanders' defense, and it's not close on the Eagles side of the ball. I think the Eagles definitely take this money line. I think the Eagles win this game. Now, because you talked about the Eagles are going to be smart. They're not going to make mistakes. They're not going to turn the ball over. They'll wait for them to make mistakes. And I agree with all that. When you get to the points in this one, I don't know how great I feel about either side. I almost lean, especially 6.5. I almost lean Commanders. I can't get over my graphic, Chris. Do you think Jaden Daniels is going for his nose or his mouth there? Where's he headed?
I think he's pointing. I think it's the nose. I think you got the nose there.
Is he going to pick his nose?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Well, here you can.
They're not friends, so
so pick away.
Yeah. I personally, I think Commanders would be just from a entertainment vantage point moving into the Super Bowl, and I understand that as a Chiefs fan, maybe that wouldn't be the first choice for people. But entertainment wise, I think Washington's more fun to watch actually than Philadelphia. So I'd prefer Washington winning this game, but and I hate the Eagles, and I hate the coach, and I hate everything about them. But I do think Philadelphia wins this game. Yeah, probably teasing this. If it gets to 6.5, for sure, teasing down to Philly -0.5 makes a lot of sense to me.
It is. It's 6.5.
I think they'll win and it won't be pretty. So maybe teasing Philly down to a half is where we go here.
You talk about like all the money being on the Commanders. So if that's the case, why is it moving away from? Like it opened around like 5.5, and now it's at 6. So how are the Eagles becoming bigger favorites when the money is against them?
Well, that's more of a sign to bet Philly, frankly.
Well, and as this number gets higher,
when those things don't correlate, when you have a team that's got more of the money and bets on them, and then the line's moving in the opposite direction, that's even more of a sign to bet on that other team.
Yeah, and then also too,
usually
the fact that it's up to 6.5, that just teases more people to taking the points in a matchup that's going to be. It might feel like it's a better value, but it's a trap. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Now the thing I hesitate here is oftentimes you win in the playoffs, Chris, with the better coach and the better quarterback.
Correct.
And I think Washington has both.
And here's the thing, like
I do. I don't know how you argue that.
No. Here's the thing though. Not Jaden. I don't know if Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I mean, does he need to go crazy in this game? Like he hasn't.
No, well,
because he hasn't.
Depends on how it plays out.
Yeah, because he hasn't had to do much. I mean, and you had that weird weather game where that kind of affects both teams. But Jalen Hurts again has a cannon behind him that's going to be running the ball for a majority of this game, controlling the time of the possession and everything.
I would argue if it wasn't snowing as bad as it was in that game last week against the Rams, do the Eagles win? I don't know that they do. I think the snow helped them a lot in that game. I think they probably lose that game.
Maybe. You could be right. Other props that are interesting in this one. You have some if anything, I think the interesting one of the lines that I was looking at was the first half spread. Washington plus 3.5, knowing that it's probably going to be close for the first part of the game, first quarter or two. It's going to a feeling out process, and then also starting out slow in a big game, especially for a rookie quarterback and a quarterback that hasn't exactly been torching people with his arm. A lot of running the ball. If you don't get into the end zone, the first half Washington plus 3.5 looks good. Other options here, Jalen Hurts under 11.5 longest rush is an interesting one.
So what about Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown? Push.
He'll score a touchdown.
He'll probably score a touchdown.
That sounds like a good bet to me.
Let's see.
That's probably how a lot of people feel, so it might be a trap. But Jalen Hurts, Chris, in 2 playoff games, has thrown for 129 yards per game,
and they've won. And they've that's what I'm saying. Like, is this going to be another situation where he doesn't have to do anything and he just kind of?
I think this is the best equipped offense to.
True.
Maybe
it is
force that, and clearly, if you're Washington, and I think both games go this way, but like if you're Washington, actually this game more. If Washington can get up like 2 scores somehow early in this game, you put Philly in an awful spot.
Yeah, and
but Philly doesn't ever they never trail by double digits. Like it just doesn't happen. So easier said than done.
Yeah, this will just be if the Eagles. Hey. Joke Wills, shout out to Joe. Guys, go give Joe a follow if you haven't already. Thank you for the raid. Hopefully you've had a great stream. Click on the link and go follow Joe and come right back. What's up, Pork Chop Express? What's up, Pork Chop? How we doing?
Let's go.
Who's your team and where you're from? Like to get to know you.
Is that's not your pork chop?
That's not my
Chris.
pork chop. No.
That's crazy.
That's
You
not
guys might
my
be
pork
becoming-
chop. That's a hell of a-
That's a
That's a hell
whole.
of a
That's a
approach.
whole new pork chop. Yeah,
Wow.
but here's also too. If Jalen Hurts is any better in this game than he has been, Philadelphia Eagles roll in this game. Like, I mean, we haven't seen him be that in a while. So that's what the stock on Jalen Hurts is at the all-time low right now. Like, it's
Chris, he's dropped back and ended up throwing the ball or getting sacked 50 times in their 2 playoff games.
yeah, it's not
He
great.
had 259 passing yards. He got sacked 9 times in the 2 games for 73 yards lost. So if you actually take passing plays, he's less than 100 yards per game. And when you add in the sacks and the yardage lost on sacks, that's crazy.
Which is
With
why
that said, what's the passing line for Hurts?
passing yards, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Passing yards for Hurts is 179 and a half. Jaden Daniels is 222. Passing touchdowns.
Hurts has to be like at a half.
Hurts is 1.5. Over 1.5 is plus 142. Under is the favorite at minus 188. But also under 1.5 for Jaden Daniels, minus 170. So both quarterbacks. I mean, and Jaden Daniels is going to beat you with his arm, and well, I mean, he could use his legs too. But I think this Eagles defense is going to be. They're going to need to show up on this one. So, yeah, some things to think about. We'll put together some best bets here. Again, the line 6.5 right now, and we had a 10-point game earlier on in the season. Otherwise, the other one was like a 3-point game between these two teams. So,
I mean, the most recent game, the Commanders won, but yes,
by 3. Yep. So
it was the last
Against the
game.
Eagles backups.
And Jalen Hurts. Well, no, it was not against the Eagles backup, but Jalen Hurts. That was the game Jalen Hurts went out with a concussion, so he didn't play the whole game. But they scored 33. Philly scored 33. It was a 36-33 game. Commanders won. Earlier on was an 8-point game. Yes, Chris, 26-18.
Joe Quills, Rec, count for this one. Love Saquon 15 plus yards rushing each quarter. Put that.
I like it.
Put that in your options for the community bet.
Sounds good.
Eagles would have scored 60 on the Commandos if Hurts wasn't concussed. Says Joe. Are you ready to watch?
Camalos.
Joe, are you ready to watch the ELGSES Birds? The Eagles? You ready?
The exo.
I mean,
And to be clear, in that game where they would have scored 60, Jalen Hurts, before he got hurt, was 1 of 4 for 11 yards passing. Just to throw it out there. 1 of 4 for 11 yards. But would have put up 60.
Oh, by the way, let me look at one more thing here. Real quick on the total. I don't know why, but I'm kind of leaning under on the total.
Because the Eagles haven't played well lately, probably.
Because I think the Eagles defense might have some success holding the Washington down, but I also don't see their offense just exploding for like 30 points by any means either. So if they're going to be running the ball a ton, slight lean to the under 47.5, but that's just a slight lean. So there you go. Those are kind of the tail of the tape that we have for Commanders Eagles. We'll be putting some best bets together here shortly. Let's get to the Bills and the Chiefs in the next.
Hold on, real quick. Joe Cole said they had 21 in the first quarter, and Washington wasn't stopping anything. Kenny Pickett was the leader of the offense for 2 of those 3 touchdowns. So that's how quickly Jalen was out. Jalen was technically the quarterback for 1 touchdown drive. Yes, of 8 plays, 49 yards, which a lot of running, obviously.
Speaking of which, guy, your favorite Steelers reporter, Pony, he's making
how does he still have a job?
So he's making a joke about like if somehow the Bills and Eagles both win, but both of their quarterbacks unfortunately get hurt, we could see a Super Bowl between Pickett and Trubisky.
No, that would be brutal. J Cross, Bills by 50.
If Josh Allen gets hurt, I don't think they're winning this one.
J Cross coming in with it. Bills by 50.
Bills by 50.
Book it.
I don't think you know what book it means.
Book it.
But I'd be willing to bet if you'd like, J Cross. Just like Chairman. Ready to take that bet.
Yeah, like Chairman. I can't see the Commanders scoring over 30 on anyone. Oh, wait. And here comes the pain again.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Bills and Chiefs here. Bills, 1.5 point underdogs on the road in Kansas City. The money line, -122 for KC, +104 for the Bills. Over under set at 47.5. Same identical over under as the Philly Commanders. I do think, however, this one feels a little bit more spot on. I don't want to touch the over-under. I have no idea where it's going. So we're leaving that probably alone, unless, Scotty, you have a specific lean. I definitely like Philly, Washington under a lot more than I do anything on the total here. But this game, Scotty, I'll let you kind of jump in. I unfortunately have a slight lean in this one. Fortunate for you, unfortunate for me. You already know I'm teasing where I'm going with that, but go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is going to be obviously a great game. The only loss the Chiefs have all season, while playing their starters, obviously at Buffalo earlier on the season. But then you get to the regular or postseason, and the Bills are 0-3 against the Chiefs over the course of this stretch with Allen versus Mahomes. This one's gonna be a tight one. J Cross, you can't have it both ways. You can't say Bills by 50, but then saying the refs are gonna just give the Chiefs 10 points. I don't. So does that mean the Bills are getting 60 in this game? Yeah, this is gonna be. I'd be shocked if this isn't a close game. I think it's going to go down the wire. It's going to have some breaks here and there. I think you look at, listen, you can somewhat throw out the prior game. I think both teams are healthier now than they were for that game. I know the Chiefs didn't have their number 2 corner in Jalen Watson, didn't have Charles Omenihu, didn't have Isaiah Pacheco, didn't have another big player that I'm forgetting right now that I can't think of. And I think, I haven't gone back and looked at all the defensive plays, but from what I've heard, it was a pretty vanilla defense that the Chiefs played against the Bills. Maybe on purpose, maybe not, but that's not usually Spag's MO. The Chiefs were rusty offensively last week. There's no doubt about it. Didn't play offensively as well as they had coming down the stretch of the season. Oh, the other guy was Hollywood Brown. They didn't have Hollywood Brown, obviously, for the Bills game. But the Bills were without like Matt Milano, Spencer Brown, and there's a couple more that the Bills were without. So both teams healthier for this one. Hopefully Matt Milano. I know he has some like hamstring tightness that came in the last drive of last week. And they have Christian Benford also in concussion protocol, but he was limited today, so hopefully that means he plays for the Bills. We want both teams as healthy as possible. Let's make this game a lot of fun. Now, the Chiefs' offense was rusty, didn't play great last week, didn't necessarily have to fortunately, and make plays when they have to. But here's what it comes down to, Chris. Like, the way the Bills win this game is, one, it's going to be a close game, and two, if Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hands with a chance to win late in the game, it's almost over. It feels over. This Bills defense, I don't think is great. I think the Chiefs definitely have a better defense than the Bills going into this matchup. I think the Bills maybe have been more consistent offensively probably this year than the Chiefs have. Chiefs had one wide receiver catch balls last week. Now, I don't think they're facing the corners that they had to last week, and Houston, I think, was a much better defense. But KC hopefully knocked off some rust, hopefully ready to go offensively. It's in KC, undefeated at home this year. Bills only losses on the road this year. They also went undefeated at home. You have KC as a -1.5 in a game where, like, I mean, they just have beat the Bills. It hasn't been easy every time, but they beat the Bills every time they play in the playoffs. Until something different happens, why would you bet against it? Until you see a different result. And frankly, and I don't know, Chris, maybe you'll throw out the numbers on who's betting on who in this game, but I have to believe certainly the percentage of bets is on Buffalo. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't know where the money lies because I think some sharps are probably taking KC knowing that, but the percentage of bets have to be poured on Buffalo because I get it. The whole world wants Buffalo to win this game just about, right? Unless you're a Chiefs fan, why wouldn't you want Buffalo to win this game? And that's where people's bets are going to fall.
So
But me, I like KC. I think KC money line for sure. I think KC wins this game in a neck and neck battle, but they get it done again.
Now, if you take it at money line, why would you not take him -1.5?
Because they could win by one, Rec. They could win by one.
now we have seen a lot of games win by, like, I mean, 2 is a key number as well with a couple of the most recent games in the playoffs. I think what was it the what was the last? Was it the Ravens? No, what was it?
No, Bills and Ravens, Chris. The drop 2-point conversion. It was a 2-point game.
Yeah. So I mean, 1.5 is still. I mean, I would still 1.5 is in the range that I would still take the Chiefs, along with, I mean, money line as well. But I mean, you might get some. What are the different odds between that? So the you have the Chiefs -112 on the spread, and then -122 on the money line. So just how the numbers break down there. But going to your point, let's go to the numbers of what the bets are looking like. On the spread, 71% of the public and 72% of the money on the Bills. On the money line, it's almost split down the middle. 46% on the Bills public-wise, 59% on the money.
On the money.
A little on the money. So public and money, 46% and 59% on the Bills. So kind of back and forth there. So that's one aspect of it. Here's the thing. I could rattle off all the stats because Mahomes' stats are insane in the playoffs. I mean,
Best of all time.
I mean,
Just say that. Save time. In the playoffs, he's the best performing quarterback ever.
I mean, the numbers in home games after
In
November,
stats.
under 40 degrees. You have how many games they've won in a row. Hasn't lost since losing to Tom Brady in 2019. Patrick Mahomes, 16-3 in the playoffs. I mean, you have all the stats. Like, you guys know all the stats. That's just putting it out there. The main thing that you got to realize is the Chiefs are just geniuses at managing games and understanding how to ebb and flow and position themselves late to win games. That's it. They have a quarterback that can manage that, and they have a coach that is a mastermind at that. So the Chiefs, let's say the Chiefs have a short lead at the end of the game. Do you trust Buffalo to stop KC in 4 downs with Patrick Mahomes? I don't. Let's say the Chiefs are behind. Do you expect Buffalo to be able to hold them to not coming back? I don't. like the way that the Chiefs manage games and understanding how to position themselves at the end of a game, one way or another, they're just very good at it. The Bills D has some flaws. They could be taken advantage of in some aspects. They allowed 7.3 per play to the Ravens, yards per play. I think you have to get turnovers if you're the Bills in this game. And the Bills have been reliant on turnovers to try to get games turned around, right? But
that's a problem because the Chiefs haven't had a turnover in their last 8.
Which is a problem. It's
a trap.
Not a single turnover in their last 8 football games.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Chris is clearly lost in the sauce with this. I want to. Here's the thing, guys. I want the Bills to win this game. I'm rooting for the Bills to win this game. And I still, in my brain, not my heart, my brain, I lean Chiefs on the money line and the spread. I just do. And again, until I'm proven otherwise, until, like you said, Scotty, the Bills prove me otherwise. It's hard for me to go against what I know. And all I've seen every playoffs for the last 2 years plus is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs getting it done late in this game, which is why, by the way, teasing Buffalo up along with the Eagles down, one of my plays that I'm leaning towards. I like the Bills plus points in this one. So they're plus 7.5 in this game. So I think the teaser with Philly to win the game, 0.5, and KC plus 7.5.
Buffalo plus 7.5.
Oh, Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo said Buffalo.
Yeah. I just because of the greatness of Josh Allen, and he will keep this game close. And the Chiefs aren't, obviously, even if they get up, they love letting teams back in the game. But Chris, I worry about Buffalo's defense. Is it that good? Chris, do you know the stats of Baltimore's punter last week?
He did not punt once.
I don't. He didn't have a long day. I know that.
That's Rec is correct. He didn't punt the ball once. Now, there were 8 possessions for Baltimore. 5 of them were scoring possessions. The other 3 were turnovers. Now, we just mentioned the Chiefs haven't turned the ball over once in the last 8 weeks. I'd be shocked if they turn it over 3 times in this game. And like the Bills did kind of what the Chiefs did last week of like finding a way to win when maybe you didn't play your best, but you didn't make the mistakes that the other team did. And that's kind of how they won. If no team makes mistakes, and no teams get turnovers, I think there will be a mistake. And it's more likely to come from Buffalo than Kansas City. Because Kansas City just doesn't do it. They just don't. Even if last week Houston didn't turn the ball over, but you had a blocked field goal. You had a missed field. And I'm not saying that's correlated, but like you had all these things. You had 8 sacks. Kansas City had 8 sacks. I think their pass rush is far superior to what Buffalo can offer pass rush wise. I just think until KC loses to Buffalo in the playoffs like this, and now you're at home. Last year was the year I was like, KC on the road in Buffalo. KC was 11-6 last year in the regular season. I'm like, I think they could definitely win it, but it wouldn't. Buffalo should be favored and should win this game, and they didn't. So I don't know. I'm gonna roll with my Chiefs. Call me a homer all you want, but I think my Chiefs make the Super Bowl and become the first team, Chris, to make a Super Bowl in pursuit of a three-peat. No team has ever even made the Super Bowl, much less won to get that three-peat.
Well, and I will say,
I think 3 other teams that have made conference championship games, but all of them fell.
Yeah, I will say this will be one of the tougher final bosses to get to that. I think the Bills are they have been finding ways to win even when things haven't really gone their way one way or another. They've had their ups and downs throughout a couple games and they've figured it out. James Cook is running the ball better than he's ever run the ball, so that's an aspect that you want to keep an eye on. His over-under rushing total was at 53.5 last time I checked, which that could be
the winner of this game wins the Super Bowl.
This is the Super Bowl.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
This is the Super Bowl, guys.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think the winner of this game will win the Super Bowl.
They'll be heavily favored to win the Super Bowl.
No, they won't.
Not in Vegas, but yeah. I will already bet. I bet on both of these teams to win the Super Bowl because even though only one can win, as long as one does, I still make money off of it.
James Cook, 55.5 over-under total for rushing. I like Kelsey anytime touchdown. Kelsey anytime touchdown on the scorer prop is at plus 130. Some decent value there.
We got 2 against them last year, I think, in the postseason.
So that could be a best bet. We have 2 at least, I think, on the board right now. Other bets that may look interesting as well. Let's see. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Mahomes. It's a little juicy, but I guess we're just giving out winners, right? But
is that minus on over or plus?
It's minus 154 on the over.
I figured it had to be minus.
It's juicy, that's for sure.
I probably wouldn't bet that at minus 154.
No,
I don't know if he gets a 3 and 2. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Anything else stand out? I said I didn't like the over total. Over under.
Yeah, I could see this going a little bit of both ways. I think it'll be right around that number, honestly.
I mean, I minus 1.5 for money line, I think, is always a bet too in this one. For Casey, as much as I hate it, it's the lean for me. So
let's just do money line KC, and then we'll tease up Buffalo.
Okay, so let's
with Philly, and then I don't know if we want to do more than those 2. But
what's Josh Allen's touchdown? Because he's gonna run for a touchdown probably.
Just anytime touchdown or rushing touchdown, or anything.
I mean, anytime touchdown is rushing and receiving. You can't have anytime touchdown as a passer, unfortunately.
Let's see. He's minus 105 on an anytime
minus 105
on anytime touchdown.
Minus 105, I love that.
Add it to your list.
I don't hate it either.
And then Amanda is adding one to the list. Dalton Kincaid over 33.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs defense, their biggest weakness is covering tight ends. It has been all year. So
it sounds like Amanda had a great bet.
Getting an over on Dalton Kincaid makes a lot of sense in that aspect.
All that.
Especially depending on how they play some of these wide receivers. Because I didn't watch all the tape, but I was told in the last game, literally Trent McDuffie didn't line up against Khalil Shakir one time in that game. And I'm like, okay. So that almost feels purposeful if you're the Chiefs and delaying till later in the year for something, because Khalil Shakir is the number 1 wide receiver, number 1 option for Buffalo. And then you have an all-pro corner that didn't line up against him once. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But then we got Jalen Watson, and it's weird. Both wide receivers that were traded to these teams haven't had huge impacts. Amari Cooper in Buffalo, especially in the playoffs. DeAndre Hopkins in KC last week didn't catch a ball. And both of them only even play around 30% of the snaps on offense. which is interesting.
So Amanda, but Kareem Hunt over 34.5 rushing yards.
I like that one too. I think they should ride Kareem Hunt over Isaiah Pacheco. Don't get me wrong. My son was pissed last week. We're literally winning the game, and he's upset because his favorite player is Pacheco. And he's like, why are they giving the ball to Kareem? And I'm like, because Kareem Hunt actually has vision. Pacheco's just runs forward. And it hasn't worked this year, and there's something's off there. So I think the Chiefs should roll with Kareem Hunt, and he should get over 34.5.
All right. So let's see. We have a teaser, Philly -0.5, Buffalo +7.5. Already at the top. We locked in Kelsey touchdown +130? Was that one?
Sure.
I mean, we're kind of going exclusively all on KC and
KC money line, and I do like Kareem over 34.5 rushing yards.
You want to go with that one, Hunt?
I do like that. We can take a prop from the other game if we want to.
Let's see. Hold on.
You're not gonna do Chiefs money?
It's at 30. It's at 35.5. You still like it at 35.5? Get an extra yard.
I like it more at 34.5. No. Yeah, that's
Okay.
It's not gonna fit in the box, Chris.
We're gonna squish it. There we go. Squish it all in. And all right. So then there was that one. And then I mean, we had Josh Allen anytime touchdown seems and we had money line and for KC, but do we want to get exposure or do we want to go more picks this week? We could go more picks.
Well, that's wild when there's only 2 games, so just extend our picks out.
Yes.
just saying. There's a lot we like.
You also, you also had like Washington +3.5 first half.
Yeah, that was one I leaned to, but I mean, I lean that early on, but
I don't like taking Philly in -0.5 teaser and taking Washington first half +3.5.
Let's see. I mean, Saquon's rushing yards 132.5. Is that still thing? I mean, it seems. But then again, he's been blowing those out of the water too. So I don't. And they're gonna lean heavily on him. His current rushing line is 125.5 now. It's dropped.
What about his touchdown line?
Touchdown. I mean, that's gonna be juicy. I think. Let me see.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like
-250. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
-250. You lost the value there. Or there was never any. Does Goddard get a lot of carries or get a lot of yards in this one?
Get a lot of carries in this one.
I mean, a lot of receiving. I mean,
I'd take the over/under at. I'd take the under at half on carries.
Yeah.
Goddard,
he's at 40.5. That's a little high. I don't know.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that.
That's a little high.
I mean, they do use him sometimes, like especially if Hurts and AJ Brown is still kind of feuding or whatever.
Do we believe that Jaden Daniels can get 2 touchdowns thrown? Because that's passing touchdowns for Jaden Daniels +142. No, plus 130.
I don't know. What if we just go KC money?
Yeah, we might have to. I don't feel as good about a lot of these. What about
value?
Terry McLaurin over 73.5?
That feels high to me. Honestly. I mean,
actually,
the corners, I know they're young, but they're pretty good in Philly.
I got 64.5 on FanDuel right now.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense because 73.5 feels high.
70, yeah, I got 64.5 there, Silicone. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Rec, you have a lot to work with for the community bets.
Yep.
Let's just do. You said Chiefs money line.
Let's just do KC money.
Okay. Poll is up.
Well, Well, I guess the next question is: would you rather do KC money line at -122 or -1.5 at -112? I guess money line's fine. It's not that much of a difference.
Don't mess with it.
Don't mess.
Mess with it. It'll be fun.
Chiefs win. Chiefs win. It's not worth it to lose that bet if they only win by 1.
True. Guys, vote in the chat. We have a list of bets that will represent community bets. Now, you guys are 1-1 on your community bets so far this year in the playoffs. So keep this going. Vote in the chat. Let's see if you guys can get to 2-1 on the season. You have Saquon, 15 plus rushing each quarter, which I think all of us liked. I think all of us seems like that's a good one. You have Kincaid over 33.5 receiving yards. You have Josh Allen, anytime touchdown scorer. That's a solid one. McLaurin, 64.5 receiving over. And Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown scorer. So lots of different options. Currently, Josh Allen and Kincaid over 33.5 receiving yards are the leaders. But there's more of you guys in the chat, so vote. Vote. I feel good about our picks generally. I mean, Kelsey, I feel like he's like the guy to go into he's the touchdown guru in the playoffs for Kansas City. They lean on him. The teaser I love, absolutely love. I mean, I might be higher on Philly than probably most people. I think Philly's going to win this game by. I mean, I think
it's a tough situation for Washington.
It's a tough spot for them. I honestly wouldn't hate taking them at -6.5. I wouldn't love it, but if you were to hold a gun to my head and say take the spread, I would probably lean Eagles, or I'd probably take Eagles in that spread. I like Hunt over 35.5 rushing yards. Yeah, I think that one's. I mean, that one's. I mean, the Kansas
Pacheco out in this one or in that one.
You love Pacheco though.
No. Like, I'm curious. I don't love Pacheco.
No, I know. I was being sarcastic.
I'm curious what his line is.
Oh, Pacheco. Oh, let me take a look. His rushing props.
He's at 40 plus.
I got 32.5.
Yeah, never mind. I'm at 31.5 actually.
So wait, he's gonna get about the same?
Doesn't shock me.
Is that he's projected, well, at least according to Vegas, about the same as Hunt?
I think in the second half last week, Pacheco basically didn't get carries.
Because so that means Kareem Hunt is
more effective. And I think he's been more effective because he's better at getting 4 yards on a play. Now, if it gets to the second level, Pacheco's better at breaking it for a long game than Kareem Hunt, obviously.
Because the only spot that is bad is if Pacheco starts out hot in this game and they just lean on him for a majority of the game. Like if he comes out and he gets, a handful of really good carries and he's having success, the Kareem Hunt might be a little bit more difficult. But either way, still between both of these, they're projecting what? 67, 68 yards of rushing from both of these running backs.
Yeah, and last week the Chiefs couldn't run the ball, but Kareem Hunt had 44 yards. Pacheco had 18.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. All right, keep voting, guys. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown scorer, is the leader right now. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown scorer with 3 votes. 2 votes for Kincaid, 1 for Saquon, 1 for McLaurin, and none. No one's giving love to Jalen for anytime touchdown. No one's giving him love. That's fine. It's rare for Scotty to agree on that one.
No. I mean, those were some good calls. The Mandalorian, I liked him.
Now, I will say again, as a Broncos fan, I never want any other team in the AFC West to succeed at any level. So I'm hoping the Bills. Oh, there goes Scotty. This is perfect.
Yay.
Oh, there he is. Oh.
Yes, he's glitching a lot.
Wait, is he back, or are you just in the way? Hold on. Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. There he is.
Really.
There he is. He's back. Keep voting, guys. I absolutely am rooting for the Bills, and that's all I can do as a Broncos fan. So go Bills, but I just know my head is different than my heart when it comes to these best bets.
Now here's an odd bet. I know you normally don't like doing these, but Sky died again. But I know you normally don't like doing these, but maybe like tease the Bills up 7.5 and tease down the over under, because both of these teams are definitely scoring at least 20 points. The over 41.5 is definitely going to hit.
Yeah, the problem is teasing over and unders is kind of it's not ideal. It's not the way you want to be betting.
Yeah, I know it's not ideal, but down to 41.5, that seems like an easy bet.
I mean, I'm happy with what we got. With our teaser in here. I'm good with that. I mean, it feels good. Yeah, I think we're gonna go 4-0 this week. I hope we don't go 4-0, but I think we're gonna go 4-0.
And the community is definitely gonna hit theirs.
Yeah, let's see what the community bet is.
It's the same.
Still the same. Vote, guys. Vote. We need you guys to help sway where this vote goes. You guys have been helping us out all playoff long, and we're not going to stop now. By the way, we're going to be doing this for also the Super Bowl. We're going to be doing this for the Super Bowl. We are going to be doing every year we do our best prop bets for the Super Bowl. That's going to come up about in a week or so, probably a couple weeks before the Super Bowl is as it's getting all ready with all the teams and all the props and who's going to be singing the national anthem this year. Do we know? We have to.
I'll eventually know, but I don't know now.
Chat, who's singing the Super Bowl national anthem right now? I know we have Kendrick for the halftime show. Super Bowl.
Full list of pregame performers.
Why is this so hard to know?
John Baptiste.
Huh?
John Baptiste. Is he? Oh,
never heard of him in my life.
John Baptiste. I think he does like soulful jazzy kind of vibe, doesn't he? Doesn't he do like?
Yeah, it says a multi-talented musician who works in the jazz, pop, and R&B idioms.
Got it.
A 20-time Grammy nominee and a 5-time Grammy winner.
It is in New Orleans. He must be like a local guy.
Yeah, native of Metairie, Louisiana.
Ah, okay. So yeah, we're gonna be doing all that stuff, all the prop bets on the over/under for the national anthem and Gatorade color, and we're gonna be breaking all that down. The coin flip, Odds are tough on the coin flip there, Scotty. I think heads is heavily favored. It's got to be.
And Avs lost.
Unreal. Seriously, in overtime?
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh, wait.
Overtime.
Oh.
Yeah. Colorado just got Winnipeg.
Cool.
Got a point. Chris.
Vote. It's about to be up. And Josh Allen, is that going to be your vote? Anytime touchdown scorer is locked in. There it is. Okay.
It's a free pick. It was a good one.
Well, yeah. We'll see. Josh Allen, we'll put you in for the community bet anytime touchdown. There we go. So we have our 4 best bets here for the championship weekend and our community bet. So we will be keeping an eye on those. Let's see if we can improve this record a little bit more. But otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to take us to the end of the show. But before we get to the end of the show, again, next Wednesday, we have our community night. And we want this to be the biggest celebration we've ever had. We are celebrating 4 years. We haven't been able to do it. 4 years was in December, but we haven't been able to do it because of all the football content and everything else. We finally have some time, so we're going to be playing some games with you guys. I think we have some. Maybe we'll play some Wavelength. Maybe we'll do some. We'll do a draft of some sort. We'll do some video reviews. Maybe watch some YouTube videos with you guys. We have some just a lot of fun different things that we can get to. So make sure you guys stay tuned in for the show next Wednesday.